Hello, and welcome to You Know How It Feels with Rick Young and Luke Sperry.
People in the surgery, Luke.
Oh,
yeah, those people in the doctor's surgery. You try not to go there too much, but it always seems to be something wrong with me. And I always think that if there is something wrong with you physically or mentally, it's best to go to the doctors.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, get it checked out.
I sat down in the waiting room. You know, as you do, you stroll in. It's too hot in there.
Yep.
It's far too quiet. That's how it seems when you're sat in there. You've got the water machine, which... And in walks the family from hell.
Oh, no. All of them?
Well, the mum, the dad, and the two naughty children. Everybody else is just sat nice and quiet, reading Woman's Own and Reveal. I read Country Life.
I was going to say, you know, what did you read? Was it Good Housekeeping or Bella?
I can't get into Good Housekeeping. I mean, I've tried. Bella's not so difficult to get into, really. It's just like chat. But no, I go for Country Life, and I pretend... buying one of those giant mansions that only cost 2.8, and I'll look at one that's maybe 1. Yeah, and I'll look at 1.9 million and think, oh, that's not actually that bad. I could seriously consider this.
Time now for Julia Bradbury's really awful joke.
Well, what a fantastic day I've had here at Snowdonia, traversing the rocky cliffs and sheer mountain faces. Now that it's all over, I really can say that it's time for me to slope off. We know how you feel. Nothing to do, no personality, life is going down the drain. If only you could find a hobby or a new skill that you could learn, where you could restore your confidence and even make new friends.
Well, now you can with Learn the Triangle. Get stuck into a three-sided love affair with the new Learn the Triangle course for beginners. Ding-a-ling your way into an exciting new phase in your life. Learn to play like this. Or like this. Or even like this. Lunch. 3 courses will be provided free of charge. So come along and learn the triangle. Search online to find your nearest Learn the Triangle location. And change your life today.
That's right. I'm just a fat guy playing jazz. And I'm here to tell you about Fat Guy's new sophistication restaurant. Potatoes, tomatoes, alligators on my feet. 2 meals for the price of 3. Background jazz, food on the table pizzazz. Find new Fat Guy's sophistication restaurant with jazz on Highway 69.
Hi, I'm Rich Davidson. Here's an interview I recorded recently with our resident Twitcher, Reg Hopwood. Mr. Reg Hopwood, who has a very special hobby.
I do, yes. Birds. Not in the marital sense. I go out on the plains most nights, and a migratory bird that goes to South Asia in November time and comes back to the UK around June, and I count them because they're a diminishing species for their own survival and my own pleasure.
Do these birds have a common name that we would know them by, or do you have to refer to them by their Latin name?
Yes, their Latin... which one would you like first?
Whichever comes easiest, whichever comes naturally.
Well, the common name is the chockadoo. The Latin name is the cockadoo.
So is it a endangered species then, David?
It is an endangered species, yes. Especially when I'm up there, because I joke with you, the wife has a tendency for chockadoo pie, and as much as I try to coax her out of it, being a strict vegetarian, but yes, they are endangered.
Fantastic. So you're involved in the conservation effort for these birds, and are they particular to the British Isles, or are they found in other countries as well across Europe?
Unofficially, yes, I'm involved in the conversation with them. Quite frequently, we would chat to each other. The people think I'm known as a bit of a Dr. Dolittle around my area, and I'm frequently getting the jokes about the white coats and starting to get on my nerves. Quite frankly, I've had enough.
How can people...
And if I have to hear one more joke about a bird in the hand, I really will. It will tip me over the edge. It's not birds of a feather. It's not funny. It's not crow's feet. I'm just a big bird lover.
how can the listeners get involved with your amazing conservation effort?
Well, they can come out with me, give me a ring. I've got my mobile, and we can go and sit in the shed for a couple of hours and help me count them. But what I'll have to be careful of is that they don't count the same ones as me.
How many have you counted, Reginald, in the past 6 months, say, for example?
So far this year has been a reasonable number. Last year was 258, and this year there's a bit of an increase, 259.
Well, that's good news, because presumably that means that the conservation effort is going as planned.
Yeah, it's an increase of just the one bird, but hoping next year 260.
It's getting late. Getting heavy. Time for love. You don't want VD. But what about your cat? He's out there alone, catting about with all the bad pussies. And what he needs is protection from those pussies. And now you can provide it for him with Cat Doms, the new condoms for cats. Put a Johnny on your Tommy before his night trips out. And out in the street, it won't matter what he gets up to. You can just feel safe in the knowledge that he's wearing a cat dom. Cat Doms. Johnnies for Tommies. By the time the doctor comes out, I'm sat there in a little cap and tweed jacket and a little red jumper and tie with salmon trousers.
And a little Labrador next to you, by any chance?
I don't think dogs are allowed in there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Any guide dogs?
Guide dogs.
Yeah, well, we need to find a guide dog that's trained not to bring the family I'm about to talk about into the surgery waiting room, Luke. So you've got mum and dad, right? First they'll sit down. The kids will run around like absolute lunatics. Using the water cooler, there was a sign on it that said, to parents and carers, please inform your children that this water cooler is not a toy. Do you also think is absolutely fantastic about this?
What's that?
The children go over to this thing, and because it's novel and they're not used to seeing it everywhere else, they start drinking loads of water.
Which is good, as opposed to fizzy pop, because then they'd be hyper children would be
Well, they're not going to
worse.
fill it with Tango, Luke, are they? And the doctors... Mum and Dad sit down, wearing their eagle jackets and tracksuit bottoms with 2 stripes. Who needs 3? And
no one. Only losers wear 3 stripes.
Yeah, nothing. Not that I've got anything against tattoos, but millions and millions of tattoos all over their head, forehead, F words and stuff like that.
Nice.
Dodgy piercings. And then they sit down, and the couple decide to do this comedy routine between each other, saying, "Oh yeah, but you don't eat chips, do you?" I do eat chips. I just don't. I don't like potatoes much. That's all. They will have this conversation. I'll be sat there opposite them like this, you know, try not to look. But you can't do that, because then they'll pick on you and say, "Oh, you got a problem, mate?" Holding your magazine all the way up there in front of your eyes, and I'll put it down and say, "Yes, I do have a problem with you people."
This week, he's not just your average detective. I must discover another way to establish the identity of this killer. He's Belgian. Don't miss this week's specially extended Eyebrow, Sunday afternoon at 2. I will get to the bottom of this hideous crime, even if I die from it. Eyebrow. When the eyebrow raises, he's got you fingered.
So, you enrolled on and successfully passed your first course. Well done. But now you're back to square one. Still no friends. Still no hope. Life still going down that drain.
Stop! What's wrong with you? You've ding-a-linged. Now it's time to ding-a-ling-a-ling-ding. From the people who brought you Learn the Triangle for Beginners. Learn the Triangle. Intermediate. The next stage in your development. Learn to play like this. Or like this. Or even like this. Search online to find your nearest Learn the Triangle location.
Late Night Love with Graham Goldfincher.
Goldfincher! He's the man with the love at 10. For chicks and men.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Late Night Love with me, Graham. So let's go straight to the phones and see who's on line 2 this evening. Hello, Debbie.
Hi, How did you know it was me?
Oh, just a little hunch. Little birdie told me. So, Debbie, what's your problem?
I'm having a bit of a bad time at the moment. I think my husband's lost his job. He goes out the door at 8 a.m. every morning and he comes home at 5:30. But my friend Gemma was taking her youngest son to the dentist and saw him just hanging around in Primark.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have meant anything much, but then my friend Nicola saw him a few days later in Wetherspoon.
And what was he doing, Deb? Eating lunch with another woman?
No, he was just sat with a bunch of old men, just drinking. It was only 11:45. I mean, if he's lost his job, we can work it out by talking. I don't want lies and denial.
I see. I'm getting a clearer picture of what's going on here, Deb, and the picture's not good. It's not good at all. He's having an affair.
What? No, that's not what I meant.
Oh, Debbie. Now who's in denial? Take a step back. Look at things from a different angle. Graham's angle. All the clues are there, Deb. Together you and I have unravelled the mystery. Everybody knows that Wetherspoons is really a hotbed for cheap and illicit encounters.
But he was sat with old men.
Oh, come on. Were they really old men? How can you be sure? One of them could have been wearing a mask.
Well, I really don't think...
Shh. Wake up and smell that coffee, Deb.
But Gemma said...
Gemma's in on it too.
And Nicola.
And her, I'm afraid. Your friends are not what you think they are, Deb. And they're pulling the wool right over your eyes.
I thought he'd just lost his job and was trying to...
I know. But I'm afraid it's a lot worse than that. He's slime. Now is the time to think about what to do, Deb. You've got children to think about.
No, I haven't.
No, well, but what if you did have? What then?
Yeah, I see what you mean. I guess I have got a lot to think about.
That's right, Deb. You have. But let's face it, Deb. That's the story of your life.
Someday I'm gonna write the story of my life.
You thought you knew everything about Triangle. But everyone knows there are always 3 sides to every story. Meatloaf sang 2 out of 3 ain't bad. But he was wrong. It's time to take the 3rd leg of your Learn the Triangle journey and come full circle. But what's that? The next course was fully booked.
It's an omen! It's an omen! Because there's something even better. Learn the Triangle. Residential Masterclass. Enroll now and spend a week with our Triangle experts at a top secret location. Hedge End. Book online. Don't be square, be Triangle. In doctor's surgeries, where do they get all those toys from? You can guarantee when you go in there'll be a kid playing with a semi-naked action man from 1962. Do you remember you used to get those, for like babies or toddlers, you get those wooden train sets?
I thought you were going to say those levers in the back of their heads that make their eyes move. Where are these deformed babies coming from? Frankenstein's laboratory.
With a kung fu grip, yeah.
You know why
absolutely.
they're in the doctors then, don't you? Come in for an adjustment.
I mean, you've got hyper children, and you've given them a train set, and there's no train to roll along.
Well, do you remember a few years ago, there was this kind of mad idea to take the toys away to prevent the spread of germs. Yet it's all right to let Wayne and Waynetta sit there with their comedy routine, infecting the whole room.
I know, coughing and spluttering everywhere.
Yeah, the kids wiping their snot all over you, you know.
Yeah.
Look at this, no! Country life. I just love it, just once, if they would say, Mr. Young, in a nice gentle voice, you know, like that, Mr. Young, like a relaxation CD. But no, they'll open the window bit, they'll Ricky Young! Like that. Oh, that's me. Then you have to walk past all the people, because I deliberately sat in the corner in case the Slob family walked in, and I have to walk past them, sniff their various odours, walk past the rest of the rating room, put my Country Life magazine down so people think I'm even more of a snob, and then walk through. Oh.
You've been listening to You Know How It Feels. The show was written and produced by Rick Young and Luke Sperry, and was performed by Rick Young and Luke Sperry, with sterling contributions from one refined lady, that's me, Louise Mills, and one crazy mama, Rebecca Mayer.